Ludwig. I grew up in Diamondale, a little town off the southwest side of Lansing, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about my vocation story, how I became a deacon and hopefully will next year get ordained a priest of the Diocese of Lansing. Growing up, my family was Catholic, devout Catholics, and they raised me going to Mass every single Sunday. There wasn't any sort of question about that growing up. I knew that since it was Sunday, it was going to Mass was just the sort of thing that we did on Sunday. But as I got older, in my adolescent years, 12, 13, 14 years old, I started to drift away in my heart. I wanted what I wanted and not necessarily what God wanted for my own life. And I found eventually following that path of my own desires, my own will, made me more and more miserable, and it put me in greater and greater conflict with my family, with my friends, with those around me. I was becoming more and more isolated, and I was becoming increasingly miserable. And there was just one day where I was in a spot of trouble, and I really just found myself miserable. And I sat down, and I thought something has to change, something needs to change. And there was really just a grace in that moment to change my attitude, and it changed my life completely. The Holy Spirit really broke in that moment and took that desire that I had to be happy and showed me the way. I began serving others, I began obeying my parents, and it filled me with joy. For the first time in a long time, I felt happy again. I was energized, and it just felt like really living again. That led me piece by piece deeper into prayer, deeper into relationship with God, and through those prayers and through that talking to God, it became increasingly clear over and over again, just in the silence of my heart, I kept hearing the Lord say, I want you to be a priest for me. And that echoed in the depths of my being. There was something in me that wanted to say yes to that call. And since I was just beginning to rediscover life again and really learning to live and be joyful again, it made sense that whatever the Lord had for me, whatever He had for my life, that was the best plan for me. That was His plan of joy and happiness for me. Priesthood might have seemed crazy in my mind. To give up stuff, to give up marriage and family, seems insurmountable when you're 15. It seems crazy. But I knew that joy and happiness rested with the Lord, and that whatever His plan for my life was, that was where I would experience peace and joy and happiness. And so at the age of 17, I started to apply for seminary. I didn't know if I would get in. I didn't have the money at the time to pay for it, but the Lord provided, and that's always the last step for me in discernment. When I think that the Lord has spoken to me and that I'm supposed to do something and follow a call, the last step is when the Lord opens the door. And the Lord opened the door for me. He opened my parents' hearts to this gift of seminary life, and He opened my own heart to see that He was taking care of me in the midst of this process, in the midst of this journey. Now, 7 years later, I can say very confidently that I still believe God is calling me to be a priest, and at this point, as an ordained minister, I get to step even more fully into God's plan for my life, and it's a tremendous joy to serve the people of St. Thomas Aquinas and St. John's this summer, and I look forward to meeting as many of you as possible. And I'll just say, the Lord has never left me hanging out to dry. So many times have been difficult, but the Lord has never left me in a place of difficulty without some relief. The Lord's grace and the Lord's goodness is always greater than whatever situations I find myself in. So a word of trust at the end of this. Any vocation takes trust. It takes trust to do what the Lord is calling us to do. But our peace, our happiness, our joy, all of that is found in the Lord's plan.